Today we will review the Voluntary Acquisition Information Notice for agencies with eminent domain authority, which is one of HUD's sample documents provided to meet voluntary buyout or acquisition program requirements. For the purposes of drafting this notice, the terms subrecipient and agency are used interchangeably throughout this video. A hyperlink to HUD's Voluntary Acquisition Information Notice for agencies with eminent domain authority can be found on the Texas General Land Office website at recovery.texas.gov. To locate the document, go to the Local Buyout and Acquisition Program page, which is linked below in the description section of this video. Scroll down to the left side checklist section under Supplemental Documentation and click on the link for Sample Voluntary Acquisition Information Notice for agencies with eminent domain authority. Once you click on the link, your computer will download the sample guide form. A voluntary acquisition notice is required to be sent to homeowners that have applied to all voluntary buyout or acquisition programs. There are two types of voluntary acquisition notices: voluntary acquisition notices for agencies with eminent domain, and voluntary acquisition notices for agencies without eminent domain. The regulations vary slightly depending on whether the agency, otherwise known as subrecipient, has the powers of eminent domain. Eminent domain refers to the power of the subrecipient to take private property. Through eminent domain, subrecipients can take the property regardless of the homeowner's will. Eminent domain must be used for a public use, defined in Texas as ownership, use, and enjoyment of the property by the state, a political subdivision of the state, the public at large, an entity granted the power of eminent domain under law, or the elimination of urban blight. Eminent domain acquisitions must also ensure just compensation is given to homeowners. Subrecipients planning to use eminent domain are considered involuntary buyout or acquisition programs and should contact their GLO grant manager for more information on involuntary requirements. Subrecipients that will not be using eminent domain powers may follow voluntary acquisition requirements. Voluntary acquisitions or buyouts are only eligible if all of the requirements of Title 49 CFR Subpart B, Section 24.101 are met. To determine which requirements of 49 CFR 24.101 are applicable, subrecipients should first determine if they have the power of eminent domain. For subrecipients with the power of eminent domain, voluntary acquisitions or buyouts are only eligible if all of the requirements of Title 49 CFR Subpart B, Section 24.101, Subsection B1, paragraphs 1 through 4 are met. The requirements for voluntary programs run by agencies with eminent domain include: 1. No specific site or property needs to be acquired, although the agency may limit its search for alternative sites to a general geographic area. Where an agency wishes to purchase more than one site within a general geographic area on this basis, all owners are to be treated similarly. See Appendix A, Section 24.101, Subsection B1, Paragraph 1. 2. The property to be acquired is not part of an intended, planned, or designated project area where all or substantially all of the property within the area is to be acquired within specific time limits. 3. The agency will not acquire the property if negotiations fail to result in an amicable agreement and the owner is so informed in writing. And 4. The agency will inform the owner in writing of what it believes to be the market value of the property. See Appendix A, Section 24.101, Subsection B1, Paragraph 4, and Subsection B2, Paragraph 2. The purpose of this form is to ensure that the voluntary acquisition requirements for agencies with eminent domain under 49 CFR Subpart B, Section 24.101, Subsection B1, paragraphs 1 through 4 are met. Agencies without the power of eminent domain should use the Voluntary Acquisition Information Notice Agencies without eminent domain form. This form should be sent to the homeowner prior to the offer letter being sent, initiating the negotiations for the property. Please note, the case file for the property to be acquired must indicate the manner in which this notice was delivered. For example, by certified mail with the date of delivery and return receipt requested. What you are viewing is a sample notice using a fictional subrecipient and property owner that should be used as a guide when drafting your agency's volunteer acquisition informal notice. We will now walk you through this guide form, customizing all of the underlined areas to fit our fictional agency's needs. Please note, while HUD has provided a guide form, your notice does not have to match this one word for word and should be altered to meet your program's needs. In this example, Rango County, using the guide form created by HUD, drafted their own notice using the county's letterhead. Next, date and address the letter using the property owner's full name. The first paragraph of the letter informs the property owner of the subrecipient's interest in acquiring their property for a possible project funded by HUD. To personalize this paragraph, enter the subrecipient or acquiring agency's name. Input the address of the property proposed to be bought out or acquired. And finally, enter the name of the program under which the property would be acquired. In our example, the program is the GLO's Hurricane Harvey Local Buyout and Acquisition Program. The second paragraph is vital, as it explicitly states that the interested agency does not have the authority to acquire the property by use of eminent domain if an amicable agreement for the purchase of the property cannot be met, even if they have eminent domain authority. In addition, it notifies the owner that the property is not a necessary part of the proposed project and is not part of an intended, planned, or designated project area where substantially all the property within the area is to be acquired. Informing the owner of both of these items in writing is a requirement under 49 CFR 24.101. Again, alter the paragraph as needed to meet the program's needs while still meeting the letter requirements. For our example, we entered the subrecipient's name into this paragraph. The third paragraph in the guide form seeks to meet another requirement for voluntary acquisitions, that the property owner be advised in writing of the fair market value of the property. The third paragraph contains language to meet this requirement by providing the fair market offer to the homeowner. However, for the voluntary buyout and acquisition program, the paragraph will most likely need to be altered to meet the program's needs. Most local buyout and acquisition programs will not have the appraised fair market offer when this letter is sent. However, the program will still meet the requirement under 49 CFR 24.101 through sending the mandatory right side document, the voluntary offer letter to homeowner, which will be explained in another video. For the purposes of this form, subrecipients who do not yet have the appraised fair market value of the home should include language that the fair market value of the home will be provided to the homeowner in writing through the voluntary offer letter to homeowner that will be sent. In our sample document, the subrecipient included language that says the fair market value for the property will be determined through an appraisal. Homeowners will be given the opportunity to accompany the appraiser during the appraisal. The fair market value that Rango County determines for your property will be sent to you in writing via a voluntary offer letter to homeowner. If desired, you will be given the opportunity to appeal the decision and hire your own appraiser at your own cost. The fourth paragraph informs the owner that under the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act, or URA, owners that vacate their property voluntarily are not eligible for relocation assistance under the URA. Note: under the Voluntary Buyout or Acquisition Program, voluntary homeowners may still be eligible for relocation incentives if the program offers them, not to be confused with relocation assistance under the URA. However, if the property is occupied by tenants, compliance with the Uniform Relocation Act is required. Tenant occupants displaced because of a voluntary acquisition may be entitled to relocation assistance and must be fully informed of his or her rights and entitlements under the Uniform Act. For more information on this, please refer to 49 CFR Subpart B and Appendix A. The final paragraph of this notice should include contact information for the subrecipient case manager where the property owner can use to ask any questions or make any comments they may have. Please use a name, title, address, and phone number of the best contact the owner can use to reach your agency. An email address can also be provided as an alternative method of contact. To end the notice, please have the subrecipient sign the letter and include their title. In our example, Rango County's judge signed the notice as the subrecipient. We hope you enjoyed this training on the Voluntary Acquisition Information Notice for agencies with eminent domain authority. If there are any additional questions during the completion of the form, subrecipients should reach out to their General Land Office grant manager. Additional videos covering the other required local buyout and acquisition forms are, or soon will be, available at the same location you are viewing this one.